Hello, First Methodist. I'm Krysten Watts, and I'm the director of the Weekday Children's Ministry, and I'm so thankful to be able to have the opportunity to bring to you today's good word. Growing up, I enjoyed hymns. I grew up singing them in church. My mom was a pianist, and so hymns were constantly played in our household. And my favorite one of all time, even as an adult, is It Is Well. And once I learned the meaning behind It Is Well and what circumstances it was written under, I have loved it even more, and it's become even more of a favorite than it ever had been. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about It Is Well and the author and how it was written. It was written by a man named Horatio Spafford in the 1880s, and Horatio lived in Chicago with his wife and 4 girls. He was a successful businessman. He was a successful attorney. He was well liked, and he was also a Christ follower and a devout Christian. And Horatio's livelihood and businesses were all but destroyed in the Great Fire of 1871 that swept through Chicago. And so shortly after that fire, he decided that him and his wife and his 4 children would go across seas to England to kind of get away and refresh and just take a step back and regroup. And at the very last minute, right before they were supposed to leave, Horatio had a business opportunity, and so he stayed behind, and his wife and children went on ahead of him, and he was going to meet up with them later. Well, on the way to England, the ship that his wife and girls were on collided with another ship, and their ship actually sank. It sank within 12 minutes, and 226 people on board were killed. And included in those 226 people were Horatio's 4 children, his 4 girls. They drowned. His wife, she didn't drown. She made it, and she was able to telegram back to him in Chicago that, what had happened. And of course, he got to them as quickly as he could. And on the way overseas by boat, of course, the captain of the ship that he was on told Horatio when they arrived to the place where his daughters had passed away. And right then and there at that place, Horatio penned the words to It Is Well. And one line that sticks out to me, especially knowing what I know about Horatio and what circumstances he was writing the song over, one part of the song that sticks out to me is, "Whatever my lot, God has taught me to say, it is well with my soul." And those words ring out to me when things just don't go my way, when I feel like I've been dealt a rotten hand, when I don't have as much control as I would like to have, or when times are just uncertain like they are now. I'm reminded of Horatio and the way that he was able to say, it is well with my soul, even when his 4 children had just drowned. In addition to that, when times are hard or trying like they are now, or when times just are unsure, a scripture that comes to my mind and that I go to often, it's in Psalm 46, verses 1-3. "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging." Another one of my favorites that's also very popular in general is Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." So when things aren't going our way, and when we feel like we have just been dealt a really rough hand, when we feel like there's no end in sight, when our control is gone, may we remember that our God is for us, not against us. He loves us. He created us. He has plans for us. His word tells us that, and that we just have to follow him and love him and worship him and spend time with him. He loves us, and he wants what's best for us. So let's, in the middle of this pandemic, in the middle of the trying times that we're in, let's say it is well.